We'll be back in a minute.
Africa yampamba, Africa yantwala, entambulira mu mwoyo. Soko katewe bakatega amatwawulirize. Obwavu, entalo, endwadde, corruption, abali b'enguzi, bebasika obungi kati. Tutuse kwogana fasi.
Uganda by DJ Spooky. Here on Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. We're broadcasting on over 800 stations, on Pacifica and NPR and low-power FM stations, on college and community radio stations, on public access TV and PBS TV stations, and both TV satellite networks, Dish Network Channel 9415, Free Speech TV, 9410, Link TV, and on Direct TV Channel 375. And we're video and audio podcasting at democracynow.org. Our headlines also available in Spanish for any radio station to take, as over 250 are. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Juan?
We turn now to the East African nation of Uganda and the international uproar over proposed anti-gay legislation. Homosexuality is already illegal in Uganda, but the new bill would impose much harsher punishments, including life imprisonment and even the death penalty for some homosexual acts. It would also require people to report every LGBT individual they know or face imprisonment. The proposed bill has been condemned by activists and politicians around the world, and earlier this month, campaigners gave the Ugandan parliament an online petition against the bill signed by some 450,000 people. Speaking at the Fellowship Foundation's National Prayer Breakfast last month, both President Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton spoke out against the bill.
I recently called President Museveni, whom I have known through the prayer breakfast, and expressed the strongest concerns about a law being considered in the Parliament of Uganda.
We may disagree about gay marriage, but surely we can agree that it is unconscionable to target gays and lesbians for who they are, whether it's here in the United States or, as Hillary mentioned, more extremely and odious laws that are being proposed most recently in Uganda.
Well, the author of the bill President Obama called odious is Ugandan lawmaker David Bahati, who organizes the Ugandan National Prayer Breakfast and has well-documented ties to the far-right evangelical movement here in the United States. Last year, Political Research Associates published an expose on the complicity of conservative American religious forces in encouraging homophobia in Uganda. The report's called Globalizing the Culture Wars, U.S. Conservatives, African Churches, and Homophobia. We're joined now in Boston by the author of the report, Reverend Kapia Keoma. He's an Anglican priest from Zambia. Last year, he attended an anti-gay conference held in the Ugandan capital of Kampala and documented the role of American evangelicals in fostering homophobia. Also joining us from Boston, Frank Mugisha. He's the spokesperson for Uganda's leading LGBT rights organization, Sexual Minorities Uganda. He's here in the U.S. on a speaking tour. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! Let us begin with Frank Mugisha. Tell us what's happening now in Uganda. What is the state of this bill and what exactly it would mean?
Thank you so much. Right now, the Ugandan community is very tense, the LGBT community. There's a lot of hostility targeting the grassroots people. There's a lot of homophobia that has been increased because of ongoing demonstrations around the country. These demonstrations are done by religious groups. At this moment, legislators they have not gone back to Parliament to discuss this bill for another time because of the international criticism it has received. There has been a lot of pressure from human rights groups all over the world, different leaders all over the world who have condemned this anti-homosexuality bill and have asked the Ugandan government to totally withdraw it. We've worked with activists all over the world and within the country in Uganda. My organization, Sexual Minorities Uganda, has been pushing so much members of parliament in my country and also asking the communities in Uganda to try and stop this legislation. But again, because of religious groups going around the country, demonstrating and calling upon the Ugandan nation to try and ask Parliament to push this law very fast and pass it, the homophobia has greatly increased in Uganda. A lot of LGBT people are suffering. We've got to get people out of prison almost every day. We've got to help people who are being thrown out of homes because of this homophobia that has been increased because of the religious groups that have gone around the country calling for this law to be enacted immediately. Thank you.
Reverend Kapia Keoma, you have been documenting the role of U.S. right-wing groups and evangelical groups over in Uganda. Could you talk about what you found, the conferences that have been held there, and especially about Mr. Robert Lively and the Pink Swastika, the book that he's written?
Thank you very much. The research was sanctioned by Political Research Associates, and we are trying to understand the relationship between American conservatives and African religious leaders and their impact on American gay and lesbian kind of politics in mainline churches. But the research, when we went to Africa, we realized that the same key players in American politics are having a role in African anti-gay politics. And I was in Uganda at the time when Scott Lively of Abiding Truth Ministries was holding this conference, which was termed a seminar exposing the anti-homosexual seminar agenda. And what it did is that it told Ugandans that there is this international gay movement to take over the world. It has managed to take over the United States government. It has taken over the UN. It has taken over the country of Brazil. And now in Brazil, for instance, people who are opposed to gays and lesbians, they are being forced out of their country. And if Uganda does not stop them, then they will do the same thing because their new target is Uganda. So Lively preached a lot of hatred against LGBT persons.
Can you talk about the forces, Reverend Kapia Keoma, in the United States that are supporting the anti-gay forces in Africa, in Uganda?
Currently, the forces that are supporting the bill in Uganda have all distanced themselves. For instance, we have Scott Lively saying the bill goes too far. Pastor Rick Warren of Saddleback in California has also said no, he denounces the bill. The American conservative churches, which are broken away from the Episcopal Church, are saying they are no longer part of the bill. There is no American conservative who is prepared to say that they are for this bill.